She answered some of our questions, and the White House pleaded a non-existent absolute immunity, and that will not stand.
This is an ongoing effort, I think, by the President in the White House to prevent Congress from getting to the truth and getting the answers we deserve.
Your reaction to the White House saying Hope Hicks should not answer a question about her time in the White House?
Obstruction of justice.
I was watching obstruction of justice in action. She would not answer a single question related to her tenure at the White House.
New criticism this week from lawmakers who say the White House's stonewalling efforts have reached a new extreme. Following Hope Hicks' testimony, the president's former aide sat down with the committee for more than 7 hours, but White House lawyers blocked Hicks' answers of 155 questions during her time at the White House, including something as benign as where her office was located in the White House. But in a new interview with Politico, Chairman Nadler says those executive privilege assertions, quote, played into our hands as a gift in their legal battle with the White House. Joining me now is Democratic Congressman from Tennessee, Steve Cohen. He's a member of the House Judiciary Committee. Congressman, always good to see you, my friend. And as I look at this, I see in this transcript you've got a good 7 or 8 pages of Q&A back and forth there. I've looked through a lot of this transcript, and the White House attorneys objected or would object to at least 170 different things, something that Nadler has called a gift for your committee. Legally, explain that thinking, and will your committee then head to court to try to compel her testimony?
Well, we will, and I think Chairman Nadler's finding a silver lining in what was otherwise a bucket of manure. There's the hope that we'll go into court. They objected to everything, and we can show that their blanket immunity or absolute immunity is a bad theory, that it should be limited extremely and maybe even not allowed, and that she went to speak to Mueller and his subordinates as part of the Mueller report, and I believe she waived her immunity there, and so it's hard to waive it and then get it back. It's something, once it's given, you don't get it back.
This is interesting. On page 7 of this transcript, Chairman Nadler reminded Hicks she is required by law to truthfully answer questions, even though she's not under oath. Why no swearing-in process?
Well, you don't have to swear somebody in. It's a felony to lie to Congress, and you have 5 years, up to 5 years in prison for lying to Congress. So the swearing in is really show business, and the oath is show business because the lying is the act that is punishable.
Okay, good to know. Let's get to one of the main reasons that one would question a material witness, and that would be to bring what is detailed in the report, bring it to the screen, let Americans better view all the details in that report. I mean, it's been said many times over that most of the American population is not going to be reading a 400-plus page report. So do you think your committee has accomplished this or not?
Well, we're trying to. We did it with the hearing with John Dean and Ms. McQuaid and Joyce Vance, and they brought out a lot. And we had another hearing yesterday or the day before, and there were several people, Ms. Cordero and others, who talked about the report, and it didn't get as much exposure as we'd like to have. We need the original actors where people tune in to see McQuaid speak, McGahn speak, and Hope Hicks speak, or Hope Hicks just sit there. They'll tune in for that. But to get people to listen to what went on. I mean, the Mueller report is an indictment. It is a roadmap, as people say, and I was asked by somebody, is there a smoking gun there? It's a smoking cannon, but it's like you got to be there to hear it. Does a tree make a noise in the forest if nobody's there? Yeah, you got to have somebody hear the tree fall, or and that's people haven't read the report. Members of the committee haven't read the report. There was a Republican on the committee who got up and said that it says no collusion, and it did not say no collusion. That's not the only thing it said about collusion is that's not a legal term, and the conspiracy is the crime, and they looked at conspiracy, and there was a reference to the fact that the Trump people talked about collusion. That was it. There was nothing about no collusion. There was no exoneration specifically. It said no exoneration on obstruction. This guy said there was obstruction. The Republicans just lie. That is their mantra, to lie, and they do it over and over and over again, and it all comes from their leader, who I saw today said he never met this woman. I don't know the lady that accused him of rape. But I would accept Pinocchio's word over Trump's because Pinocchio's got a better record.
Yeah, look, I just want to be clear. She has accused him of assault. She did not specifically use the word rape. I will say that, and the president has denied that since you brought that up. But let me turn quickly to the H.R. 40 bill, because I know you are the co-sponsor of that bill. You chaired that hearing this week. It would authorize a commission to address the effects of slavery. Here's a clip from that.
It is important that we know our history and we not punish people today for the sins of their predecessors in the Democratic Party, but
it is tempting to divorce this modern campaign of terror, of plunder, from enslavement. But the logic of enslavement, of white supremacy, respects no such borders.
Bill H.R. 40 is a moral and political mistake.
Chill, 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 chill. He was presumptive, but he still has a right to speak.
What do you think this hearing accomplished ultimately?
I think it got the discussion on reparations started. Reparations is not necessarily about a check. It's not necessarily about 40 acres and a mule anymore, or what Charles Ogletree said in the 21st century would be, a condo and an SUV. It's about reparations, understanding the horror of 246 years of slavery that we permitted and allowed by our laws, and then 100 years of Jim Crow, which was slavery light. Segregation, discrimination, not separate but equal, separate but totally unequal, and the lingering consequences of slavery and Jim Crow still affect this. It affects so many African Americans. Many have been successful and accomplished much, but most have been left behind with inferior schools, lack of opportunity to get health care, lack of bad neighborhoods without good law enforcement, criminal justice system that incarcerates them at a rate of 4 or 6 or 7 times to Caucasians for smoking marijuana and for other crimes, the use of the death penalty in so many cases, and in Illinois we're seeing where they were not justified through DNA evidence. So there's much needs to be done. Reparations, as Charles Ogletree said, could probably take place and would probably take place in the term of institutional changes so that we get better education, better health care, better job training, and better neighborhoods through blight control and criminal justice programs. So it's not necessarily a check. It's like a great society on steroids, which we still need to have. But we need to have the study, and the study's important. Most people don't know the horrors of slavery. They don't know women who killed their child so that the child, after they escaped from slavery and were captured by marshals to be taken back, would not have to live in slavery. This happened. This was the basis of a book. And then you've got so much that happened people don't know about. The lynchings that forced people to leave the South. They were terrorists. It was an important hearing. Ta-Nehisi Coates was great. He told so many truths, and people have to understand the horrors that have gone on and the need to rectify and repair.
Democratic Congressman from Tennessee, Steve Cohen, thank you. Sobering statements right there. Appreciate it.